It's October, which means I have a great excuse to talk about some of my favorite dressed horror films for the month. Welcome to the first installment of this month's Halloween-themed videos. Vampires have been reimagined hundreds of times, from Nosferatu to Bela Lugosi's Dracula to Interview with the Vampire. While all of these movies are different from one another, they have a commonality within them. They all have gothic elements in it, including the wardrobe, but there's one movie that comes to mind that subverts this trope, which is why I think it stood out to me in terms of fashion, and that movie is, of course, Near Dark. Really quickly, Gothic fashion often consists of Elizabethan and Victorian garments. Typically, the colors are dark and eerie, and use a lot of blacks and grays, with elements of bright red and white used, with fabrics such as lace, velvet, brocades, and silks being used as well. For menswear, you'll often see a lot of tailoring like tuxedos and suits, frock coats, as well as capes. But let's go back to Near Dark. Near Dark is a Western horror film, and although there have been other Western horrors that feature vampires like Billy the Kid vs. Dracula or Curse of the Undead, Near Dark was different from its predecessors. Its vampires were this ragtag family of nomads that drove through the blackened nights of the United States South and Midwest and wreaked havoc through the towns that they drove through, but they were only surviving. Benjamin Crabtree from Collider said, "Rather than depicting the central vampires as wealthy aristocrats like Dracula or grotesque isolated figures like Nosferatu, Near Dark renders the vampire as a working-class community of outcasts on the fringes of normative society." Because of this, there are no gothic elements within the wardrobe, and instead it's this grimy, dark Western wear aesthetic with elements and pieces that were collected and worn for decades upon decades. Because this was so different at the time, and the fact that Western wear is so popular right now, I think there's a case to be made that Near Dark is the best dressed vampire film right now and possibly of all time. So let's talk about how they interpreted Western wear for vampires, as well as how this film is a great source of style inspiration if you're interested in Western wear and a few other styles as well. Now, if you're looking for the blueprint on how to pull off the hero cowboy, then look no further than Caleb. When we first meet him, he is wearing a light blue Western button-up with a brown suede trucker jacket, a pair of tattered light blue cowboy cut jeans with some cowboy boots, and of course, a black cowboy hat. Eventually, we also see him in a white and yellow plaid shirt with some nice chest pockets, a slightly oversized and distressed light blue denim trucker jacket that was Levi's, and some brown pants in another cowboy cut. Of course, he's wearing his cowboy boots and cowboy hat, as well as these tan riding gloves. Joseph Porter, who was the costume designer for Near Dark, did a phenomenal job at focusing on the cuts for Caleb and making sure everything fit him perfectly, from the oversized jackets to the way that those cowboy cut jeans laid on those boots. Everything was executed really well and made for great silhouettes and outfits. Caleb's entire wardrobe screams what a cowboy would wear today, from the cowboy hat to the Western button-ups to the outerwear down to the boots. It's all like pretty cut and dry cowboy. And it reminds me of this Wrangler ad I saw Julian Fetterman work on recently. And Caleb looks like the aftermath of what these guys' clothes will look like after a few years of wear. Caleb looks like he could fit in with these guys. Also, after rewatching Near Dark, I figured out that I need to get a pair of his tan riding gloves because I've been looking for some gloves for the winter. I love how they accented his outfits, and I feel like it would work well with a lot of my clothes. May also exhibited a pretty straightforward Western outfit with a faded red Western button-up with cut-off sleeves, those mid-blue jeans that were slightly distressed, and of course her cowboy boots. The blanket-lined denim barn jacket that she layers with is a great piece. I love how oversized it is on her, and that contrasting corduroy collar is great. But personally, I think I like her second outfit better with that light blue denim Western button-up on her. I'm a sucker for that denim-on-denim look. But regardless of whatever outfit she wore, I loved the detail of the side slit on her jeans so that her leg opening flares out on those boots. Again, another great pair of denim in the movie. I just went to the theater yesterday to see Fistful of Dollars, and I saw a lot of the same detail with the side slit, and it definitely shows that Poirot did a lot of research, whether it was with the movie Fistful of Dollars itself or just through history books. Coming from a costume design perspective, compared to the other vampires, May is pretty well kept and clean looking. I think this is symbolizing the idea that she is not like these other vampires and also has been newly turned. Compare her outfit to Homer's, the 40-something-year-old kid. Right away you can tell he's a lot more beaten up and worn in than May's, and it's even more harrowing, much like his character. His t-shirt was an all-over printed mosquito head graphic of William Burroughs, who I just found out recently wrote Naked Lunch, which is so cool. Besides the banger of a t-shirt, he has a faded zip-up hoodie and this gray wool military coat that gives somewhat of a Western frontier feel. On bottom wear a pair of jeans and some blacked out sneakers. Now, although I wish the jacket fit him a little bit better, I like how it added to the overall aesthetic of these vampires and that Western feel. And the black jeans actually kind of reminded me, again, of Fistful of Dollars with the Man with No Name, both of them being in a slimmer fit, albeit Clint Eastwood's definitely a lot slimmer. Also, the t-shirt is just such a cool piece. I love mosquito head graphics. They are works of art in my opinion, and it's really cool to see one of these t-shirts in a film, especially something like this. And personally, I think it's a good representation of these vampires and in the film itself, because the shirt is like somewhat gritty looking and grimy, and so are these characters, and so is this film. Now, one thing I love about this film's wardrobe is that there are different interpretations and levels to the Western wear that you see. Take Severen, for instance. His look is a cross between biker core and Western wear, with his white tank top, red and black flannel, and his leather motorcycle jacket. On bottom are, of course, some black leather jeans with this beautiful Western belt and these cowboy boots with some sharp-ass spurs. For accessories, he's wearing a handful of silver rings, and how could I not mention those black Wayfarers he wears for just a hot second, but it's such an iconic look. What gives this outfit even more of an edge and shows how dangerous he is are the countless military and police patches and pins on his jacket and pants. All of these are likely ripped from the people he's killed, showing that how dangerous of a character he is. But besides all that, I liked the bull skull pins on the lapels of the jacket, giving another nod towards Western wear. Then you have these darker elements making his outfit a little bit more menacing, with the patches and those cowboy boots and spurs and that shit-eating grin of his. I think this is a timeless outfit. Everything looked great on him. I love how slim those leather pants were, and the fact that that motorcycle jacket was in a classic cut. It looks like he's been wearing this outfit for decades upon decades, and it's just molding to his body perfectly. It's a great combination of biker aesthetics and Western wear, two subcultures that have coincided with each other many times in film, art, fashion, and just reality in general. Films like Easy Rider or The Born Losers are two examples of these subcultures coinciding with each other, and Near Dark is no different in Severen's case. At one point, Severen does ditch the motorcycle jacket and flannel for something a little bit more formal with a white tuxedo shirt and a silver and turquoise bolo tie. I gotta say, I love this outfit. I thought the pleats were a great addition to the shirt itself and the outfit, and those French cuffs were a great detail, and then the bolo tie was just the cherry on top. I also think the pants being in a slimmer fit added to the aesthetic of this outfit and made it look really sleek and served it well. It's such a cold outfit, and I now want to find a tuxedo shirt that I can recreate this outfit with. Now, Severen wasn't the only one to have another aesthetic other than Western wear. The mother of the family, Diamondback, had one of my favorite outfits with this dark gray bustier, a leather harness with this army green Eisenhower Ike jacket over top. On bottom were a pair of tan pants with brown leather chaps over them, and of course, some tan snakeskin cowboy boots. In the back of her waistband was a shirt tucked in, and I think this was just in case she ever got caught in the sun. Throughout the movie, there's this emphasis on layers and covering themselves, and I think in part that's due to the fear of being caught in daylight. Now again, like Severen, she also has jewelry. In her case, it is a ring and some dangling earrings that I thought were perfect accents to her outfit. And speaking of accents, I want to talk about her bleach blonde teased hair, because I thought it matched her overall aesthetic perfectly. It was chaotic and dangerous looking and menacing looking at the same time, which fits the character and the outfit. Which brings me to a point that I want to touch on. Your hairstyle should match your overall aesthetic, because if it doesn't, then you run the risk of your outfits not looking right on you and your clothes wearing you. Now, going back to the outfit, there's a lot going on here, but it's not overwhelming at all. The color combination was amazing with all of these different earth tones, and then the layering was simple but powerful with those leather chaps over the pants or the jacket over the bustier and that leather harness. I know I already mentioned this, but Poirot did a phenomenal job at honing in and focusing on all of the silhouettes for everybody, because I loved how that jacket just tapered on her and gave her like this V shape, and then The way those chaps flare on those boots is just beautiful looking. And it creates this beautiful combination of military wear and Western wear, and it looks just as dangerous as it does cool. I also love the fact that it looks like they customized that Ike jacket with the distressing and the addition of some leather trims and what looks like to be elbow patches. I love the cut of this jacket. I have a battle dress blouse that is in a similar cut, and although I don't get to wear it enough, it's one of my favorite outerwear pieces in my wardrobe. I love the fit of it, and the details are just perfect. Now, the only thing she's missing is a long overcoat to cover herself even more, and then I think this outfit would be perfect. Which brings me back to the layering in this film. The leader of this dysfunctional family, Jesse, is the prime example of the beautiful layering that was done in this film. His cream long sleeve Henley was layered with a gray notched collar suit with some suspenders and this beaten up long brown duster jacket with some black leather combat boots on feet. Now here is where our grimy Western wear comes to a peak, with everything being super beaten up and worn in, and everything feeling like it is from the past, but also that it is able to be worn in the future or the present. Then you throw in those black combat boots to give a little bit of that military touch and make the outfit more dynamic. At one point, he even wears these welder goggles to block out the sunlight, and I think this adds to his overall aesthetic perfectly, and it is horrifyingly cool. And like Diamondback, I think his hairstyle matches his overall aesthetic perfectly. That rat tail is a perfect detail to the outfit. I loved Jesse's layering, the different textures, fabrics, the shapes, and the colors. It all really worked well together. I really like this idea of mixing different fabrics together, like a wool suit and a canvas coat, and it's definitely something that I want to try out in the near future for fall and winter. But if I were to recreate his outfit, I would probably change the pants to be something a little bit sturdier for those combat boots, and then also shorten the length of that duster jacket. Although it looks amazing on him, I don't know how it would translate for everyday wear. I haven't even mentioned the use of blankets. Besides layering the clothing, they also use blankets to cover themselves from the sunlight, and it creates a beautiful shape and silhouette for these guys. I've seen this done today from people like John Mayer to Gracie Aventis, who owns Rose and Rod, a blog and brand. She has this avant-garde tech wear vibe, but I've seen these images where it feels influenced by Western wear with so many different fabrics and textures, and it creates this beautiful drape on her, and it reminded me of these guys. Also, I guess Fistful of Dollars is on my mind because although these guys aren't wearing ponchos, it gives me like a little bit of that like poncho vibe, or reminds me of the ponchos, but maybe that's just me. But there are a ton of shots and images of them having these blankets and towels draped over them, and it creates this ominous yet cool aesthetic, and I loved it so much. Now, if all that isn't enough for you, you can go to people like Caleb's dad, Loy, with his denim on denim look, or his flannel collection, or those beige trousers that he wears that are just beautiful. Or go to the bar scene where you have 3 different archetypes: the biker, the veteran, as well as the young cowboy, to give yourself even more inspiration. But if none of that's doing it for you, just look a little bit deeper, because even the background actors have amazing outfits, from workwear vests over flannels, to Western puffer vests, to moms wearing leather jackets and cowboy boots. But personally, my favorite background actor has to be the guy at the vending machine with a all-over printed button-up, underneath a brown double-breasted, wide peak lapel suit jacket and some cream pants. This outfit has nothing to do with vampires or even Western wear that much, but it is just such a good outfit, and I'm definitely going to be recreating this in the near future. Now, some people will say there are prettier wardrobes in vampire films like Interview with the Vampire or Bram Stoker's Dracula, and to that I would say, yeah, you're probably right, but that's why I think Near Dark is better. It was different at the time and felt grounded to reality and something a lot more wearable than anything Dracula would ever wear, especially for today's standard. Even The Lost Boys, which is a movie and a wardrobe that I love dearly, is still too gaudy in some cases. Meanwhile, Near Dark is the opposite. It's a great film to look at for inspiration if you're interested in Western wear, military wear, biker core, or even workwear in some cases. I think if you're looking for something that you can wear daily, then Near Dark is your place to go to, because although it is stylized, it's wearable for every day. But maybe I'm just biased because I like Western wear. But what do you guys think of Near Dark's wardrobe? Am I completely off here? Also, whose outfit was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below, and while you're doing that, subscribe, share it with a friend, follow me on my socials, it's all linked down below, as well as all the articles that I read for this video. That's gonna be it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.